Hey, I'm Nicholas Prom,
I'm Chase.
And I'm Dylan.
and you're watching Posers
Posers
Must
must die.
Die. Hey guys, so hours after we recorded and uploaded last week's show, we got the sad news that original Iron Maiden frontman Paul Di'Anno passed away at the way too young age of 66. Um, this is really a gut punch. I don't think we've had there's been a loss like this to the metal community since Lemmy or Ronnie James Dio passed, and I'm not looking forward to the next ones. I mean, I would when Rob Halford or King Diamond pass away, I will lose my shit. But as I did with Ronnie Dio died. But regardless of Paul Di'Anno, I had still been holding out hope that maybe I'd get a chance to see him live, because he still was touring quite a bit. Um, he'd been having health problems in the last bunch of years, and he'd been performing from a wheelchair, but he'd been getting treatment, and I think we were all pulling for him that he'd be back on his feet again. And sadly, that didn't happen. I know one person who saw Paul Di'Anno in Iron Maiden. Shout out to Richard Freen, who was Biohazard's first manager. But anyway, Richard, uh, he saw Maiden and Priest in '81, and Maiden opening for Priest in like New York or New Jersey or something. And wow, that's awesome. But yeah, this episode is largely going to be we're going to be celebrating the life and legacy of Paul Di'Anno and talking about his career in Iron Maiden and beyond. Um, Guys, do you have any opening thoughts before we just dive right in?
Just rest in peace, brother.
Yeah.
Sad
You guys
news.
pretty much you guys pretty much covered it. And yeah, that was a shock right after we were done recording. Just
Oof.
that was
Yeah, I found out.
yeah.
I was like 8 in the morning. I opened up Instagram. I'm at work, and like, and my boss John is a huge Maiden fan, and I was like, holy shit, Paul Di'Anno died. You know, so wow, it was a weird moment. But yeah, let's start at the beginning with the Soundhouse tapes. This was Maiden's demo. Um, they in the sessions for this, they recorded basically a whole album's worth of material, but they chose three songs um, to be pressed on this 7-inch EP. They made 5,000 copies, and it is highly sought after, very valuable record today. I have an anecdote, a story about that in a minute. But yeah, this one contains, of course, Iron Maiden, Invasion, and Prowler. Um, Invasion didn't make it to an album. They did re-record it, and it was a B-side, I want to say, to the Running Free single. Really cool song. Um, and About like a Viking invasion of Britain, I think, which they revisited thematically on Number of the Beast with Invaders, but it's a totally different song. What do you guys think
Yeah.
of these three songs?
I enjoyed them. I thought that they felt more oh geez, like what's the word for it? The quality of this, it fits better. Like the style of music, the more punkish, the more raw
Yeah.
sort of sound that they got out of that. Like it just, like I said, it's more homey. It fits.
Are you
And
saying that
so
it's?
I
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, that was it.
I
Go
just
ahead.
more than what? Like, do you think the songs that are on this that are on the first album, this is a bit rawer and that's
Oh,
better? Or
yes, yes.
okay,
Well, it's a different take, isn't it? Like
yeah,
it's completely, yeah, it's a demo. So, but yeah, no,
yeah,
it just like for this, yeah, it all fits better as not fits better. That's actually a bad way of putting it. I prefer the way it sounds as a raw recording like
yeah.
that than it did as the studio version. But I mean, they're all great.
Okay,
No
cool.
one's, no one's gonna argue that.
Yeah. Dylan, what any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this is a great demo. I remember listening to this once a very long time ago when I was first getting into Maiden,
Yeah.
and listening it to it again, the other day was a fun trip. Good stuff. Very traditional sounding. That you, you know what you're gonna get. In the future when you hear this. If this was like we say for every demo, pretty much this is a sign of greatness to come.
Yeah. But
And
yeah, I
I'm
mean,
wondering, did I listen to some sort of like re-release or something with more songs on it? The
so
the one I listened to had like five or so songs.
there are other versions that people have posted on like YouTube and stuff like that include
Yeah.
more songs from the session.
Mm-hmm.
I posted that fuller version initially on our Discord, but I figured we just talk about the three songs because this is what most
Okay.
people have heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
and it has a couple of songs that didn't make it to any Maiden albums, but for the most part, it's kind of an embryonic version of the first Maiden record,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
it's good stuff. I did have a story. So early '80s, okay, uh, Maiden, and the new wave of Irish heavy metal are, kind of conquering heroes, and like, kids who are into underground metal in the States are just eating this up, right? Okay. And some of those
Right.
guys include like members of Anthrax. Uh, so Charlie Benante got himself a copy of the Soundhouse tapes, drummer from Anthrax. And fast forward to the late '80s, Anthrax are gonna go. They're gonna be going on tour in Europe supporting Maiden. How exciting, right? To go and open for your heroes. So he brings his copy of the Soundhouse tapes on tour with him to get Steve and the guys to sign. And when he presents it to Steve Harris, Steve says, "Oh, this is a fake, mate," because it's a very popular 7-inch, and there were only 7 or 5,000 copies pressed. Bootleggers
Yeah.
made fake versions of it. So
Oh.
Charlie was crushed, thinking, "Oh no, I brought a bootleg to my hero to be signed." But here's what Steve did. Here's what Steve Harris did. He went and he got a genuine copy and got it signed it for him and presented that to Charlie as a gift.
Fuck
Hmm.
yeah.
And here's the thing, you will hear story after story of Steve's kindness and generosity throughout his career. Just like what a guy. I love Steve Harris. I love that story. I think that's really cool. Um,
Yeah, I think I may have heard that story before. That sounded familiar.
yeah,
What a cool
I
thing.
had not. That was a good one. I like it.
yeah, that is cool. But yeah, why don't we go on to the first Maiden album? Oh, go ahead,
Oh,
Chase.
actually, sorry. I was gonna say I didn't. I listened to there were 8 tracks on the one that I listened to, and track 4 was "Rhythm of the Beast." Is an
Yeah,
instrumental. Oh,
yeah,
that song fucking rips, dude. I was
it's
not
really
expecting
good.
that.
Musically very good. But weird
Yeah,
in that it's the only Maiden song with a horn section.
yeah. No, it's like if Chicago weren't lame, this is what they play.
So yeah, I can learn, but there's some interesting music in that song. It's very cool. Yeah, thank you for
Yeah.
bringing that up. Um, but yeah, an idea that just didn't carry over to when they made an album. But yeah, do we want to talk about the first Maiden record?
Sure.
Here it
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
Hey
interesting.
guys, sorry, real quick. Look how young Eddie looks.
Oh, I know the old boy is really. I don't know what to say. That's great. Yeah.
Shit, dude.
So here's a
Please.
funny
Yeah.
here's a funny story. I'm in junior high, right? And I'm cruising the record bin at Goodwill, and I found this album. But I'm there with my parents, and I'm like, please, can I get this? My dad looks at the track list, zeroes in on Charlotte the Harlot. It's like, no, no fucking way. Um, Same thing happened also on another trip to the Goodwill. Me trying to pick up Defenders of the Faith on cassette, Judas Priest. Oh, some heads are gonna roll. No, Mike. So this was where I had the painful lesson of like, I cannot trust my dad to be like cool at all or reasonable, and just like, oh right, he was just a total square, always gonna lay down that puritanical crap, and that was kind of the beginning of my separation with like you know what, this guy sucks. I gotta find my own way. Um, But yeah, it wouldn't be until high school when I got into Maiden, unfortunately. But when I did, oh man, they were one of my favorite bands at that time. Um, Interestingly though, I always thought that Sanctuary was was on the first Maiden album, but it's actually a non. It was not included on the first album. It was a non-album single, but it was included in the remasters when they re-released the albums in like 1998, and that's when I was started picking them up. So I always thought Sanctuary was like track 2 on this album, right after Prowler, but no, not on the original release. Um,
Huh.
but anyway, man, this album is great. I love this record. Um, Includes a couple of spooky ballads that Paul sings. Um, the Remember Tomorrow, which I really like,
Tomorrow.
and
Yep.
Strange World just kind of feels like we're doing Remember Tomorrow again, but not as good or as cool. You know,
Yep.
it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But both songs really showcase that like Paul had more of a range than just kind of being a barking fast,
Yeah.
barroom rocker kind of singer. He really had some melody and some range, and certainly couldn't go to the places that Bruce could go, but
Yeah.
but no, Paul could sing, and
Oh yeah.
and they're great showcases for his voice. And this is just full of wonderful songs. Running Free, of course, is a long-standing favorite of mine. Uh, Prowler's a great opener. What do you guys think?
Remember Tomorrow and Phantom of the Opera are two of my favorite Paul era songs.
Man, yeah, Phantom of the Opera rules. So good.
Uh, yeah, and I remember thinking I heard I listened to a bunch, like we established last time. I listened to a bunch of posery kind of metal back in the day. And I remember listening to this after listening to Pantera and being like, wow, this sounds like Remember Tomorrow sounds like if this love didn't, well, I already said didn't suck, but yeah, if because you
Interesting.
could tell that they were inspired. You could tell they were inspired by
Yeah.
a lot of stuff like that. But that's what that ballad reminded me of. I was like, wow, this is like if that didn't suck.
Interesting. I would have thought Cemetery Gates was where you were going with that, but interesting. Uh, yeah. And the first two Maiden records are my favorite Maiden albums. Uh, love Bruce, love Blaze, but yeah, these are just there's a rawness and an energy that it's like uh, uh, that I just that is just really special about these first two full lengths. Um, Dylan, any thoughts here, man?
Yeah, I love the opener personally on this
Yeah,
album. It's my favorite song, I think. Uh, it goes good, and I like Iron Maiden. I like Iron Maiden better than Killers
yeah,
personally. I prefer this over Killers. I don't know why. I think it has more energy to it. It's a little more powerful than
yeah.
Killers, but they're both great.
Yeah, I think Killers has some more kick-ass stuff, but I also think the first Maiden album just has more anthems and more memorable songs.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Killers has a couple of instrumentals, and yeah, there's it's really great, and I think it's more ambitious on a musical level. You know, um, but uh, but yeah, there's something just about the immediacy of this first Maiden album that can't be denied. It's awesome. I love it.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
I concur.
yeah. Uh, why don't we talk about um, the Live Plus One EP? Now, this is a really fun release. I like this. 3 live tracks: Sanctuary, Phantom, and Drifter,
Mhm.
um, which must have been exciting at the time because Drifter, you're hearing the live version. People are getting to hear the live version of that before they hear it on Killers.
mm,
Yeah,
Um,
little sneak
uh,
peek.
yeah. Um, but yeah, really cool. And it's great to hear. it's great that there's some live record of Paul. You know, there's also the Live at the Rainbow home video. I don't know if you guys watched that. It's only about half an hour, but it's really good. I put it in the Discord. You can check it out. It's up on YouTube. But really good, really tight little concert film. And Maiden just this era of Maiden just at the height of their powers. So it's really good. But yeah, the 3 live tracks and then the Women in Uniform Skyhooks cover.
Yeah.
What do we think of this track?
Well, I had never heard the song before. I never heard of the Skyhooks before.
Well, they're a pretty obscure group.
Okay. Well, yeah. Good, I guess. Yay for me.
Yeah.
Not knowing, whatever.
It's okay. It's okay.
It didn't feel like the song. Like I think some people might say it feels a little out of place, but I liked it.
I really like this song. I like it. I've always been fond of it. I learned some stuff pretty recently, about it. It's that Maiden didn't want to do it at all, and they basically fought the whole way. But they were earlier enough in their career that the record company, they really wanted them to do it, and they were able to exert that muscle on the band to do it. It came out good. They even shot a video for it too, but it was a standalone single. I can't remember what the B-side is, but it's fun. I watched an interview with Paul Di'Anno. Said they only played it live like a handful of times. They just really didn't. The whole band was really just against it. It was like the record company really wanted to push them to do this as a commercial thing, but they didn't need it. They didn't want to do it, no. and they went to great heights obviously after and then third album they just blew up. They started conquering the world, so but I think it's a fun song. I've always enjoyed it, and do seek out and watch the music video for it. It's pretty fun. Dylan, any thoughts?
Oh yeah, Dylan, go ahead.
What?
I was saying if you had any thoughts. That's all. That's just some thoughts on it.
Oh no, you said it. You said it best, man. I mean, I've never heard the original song that they're doing the cover of. So
yeah, I did go check.
It's a fine song.
Yeah, I did check out the Skyhooks version. I like it less, but I mean, I've lived with the Maiden version for so long, But it's an okay song. It's okay.
I wanted to touch on the how you were happy that there was a live recording of Paul, and how I wanted to say I think it's track 3 in Drifter. After the solo, that pitched solo.
Yeah. Go Dave. I think it's Dave.
Yeah. I think it is too.
Yeah.
But the way Paul he has the command over the audience.
Yeah.
His little vocal thing, the yo 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 yo.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Here's the thing. Yeah. And the yo 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 yo's. Here's the thing. That's why I swear by this version of it. It's so good. It's so good. I can't remember. Don't quote me, but I think that's on they do that on the Live at the Rainbow home video as well. And cool. you get to watch him do it in that one. Yeah. So cool. And there is plenty of footage besides that film, out there that can be watched, or a fair amount, So, but yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Do we want to move on to the Big Kahuna Killers? Man, I like that. Beautiful instrumental opener, and I think that just it really sets the tone for okay, this is if this isn't Maiden's magnum opus, period, it's definitely the portent of things to come. We are definitely starting to push into Steve is an epic kind of guy, and he loved prog rock, and of course that was kind of the direction he took Maiden, especially throughout the 80s as their career went on. But this is full of some real bangers. Wrathchild is one of my favorites ever. I love Wrathchild. Murders in the Rue Morgue kicks ass. Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah, Killers is amazing. And there's some other great stuff in between there. Uh, uh, Innocent Exile, I think, is a bit underrated. Um, uh, but yeah, what do we think?
No, it's just wall to wall bangers, as the kids say. And I can't I I don't dis I do not disagree. Uh, the murders like Murders in the Rue Morgue is my favorite song on the album. But man, there's so much of this album that is like if you never heard this album before and you're just like a general metalhead and you went and you listened to this album, you'd be like, wait, I recognize that riff. Wait, I recognize that riff. Wait, I recognize that riff. There's a few in here. It's very influential. I guess what I'm trying to say is it's a very influential album.
Yeah. On the Discord server, you pointed out that there is a riff on Metallica's "Ride the Lightning" that is, if not lifted from this, it is very
Inspired.
similar. Very, yeah. There we go. What track? What maiden track was it again? Was it from Murders in the Rue Morgue?
It was indeed, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There's a lick or a riff in or chord progression or something in Murders that sounds very similar to something that Metallica would do on Ride the Lightning in the song Ride the Lightning. Um,
Oh
the
yeah, straight up.
the tuning is different, um, but yeah, I think and it's like, am I going to accuse Metallica of straight lifting it, or is it just kind of like you listen to stuff and you absorb stuff? I don't know.
I'm pretty
Uh,
sure it's just inspired by me. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, and once I think this album is really ambitious. It's like they're really pushing the complexity and the technical angle. I think, no
Yeah, yeah.
shade, no shade at all on Dennis Stratton, but I think, who played guitar on the first album. It's him and Dave, and then this one they've got Adrian Smith, and Adrian, Dennis. I should say, let me back up a little bit. Rod Smallwood, their manager, really tried to keep the band together to be like a gang, kind of, right? He wanted to keep them all together all the time. And Dennis was sort of like a bit of a loner. He was a little older than the other guys. He had toured with other bands, as a touring musician and stuff. And so he wasn't quite like in the gang, you know. Uh,
Yeah.
and when they got Adrian was also very musical, and I think he meshed better with the other guys, and he was part of the gang. And I think the gang's all here on Killers, man. And yeah,
Okay.
uh, so though I think there are more songs that I like on the first Maiden record that I'm like, oh yeah, that are more like, anthemy or just, memorable choruses and things. I think from a composition standard, that's not the standard is not the word I'm looking for, but standpoint. Thank you. Uh,
Standpoint. There you go.
there we go. That's where words go. Uh, um, I think that they really are already taking another step forward, big time on this album, and it's just great. I think there's a reason people point to this one so much.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dylan,
I
any? Oh yeah. Oh,
I have to say I appreciate this album a lot more as an adult than I did as like a teenager.
yeah.
I'm not sure
Yeah.
why. Uh, but it I always when I was younger I liked like the later ones better, like Somewhere in Time and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
this I appreciate a lot more now, musically. I guess I'm just more mature now. I don't know. Um,
Uh,
but so Nick, I can imagine you finding this in Goodwill with your dad, and just the cover. He'd say no.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. After that, I was
Really?
like, no. But then it wasn't too much longer after that. I started making those trips by bicycle by myself to look for tapes and records and
There you
things.
go.
So, uh, I remember.
My
Yeah.
my uncle. Okay.
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay, cool. My uncle Ken, he passed away about 9-10 years ago.
Oh,
He
right.
was the guy who had he's the guy who had the vinyl collection, the wall to wall, like holy crap, like everything you could think of. Like it was mostly like rock and blues and some hippie crap and whatnot. Oh, hippie crap, that's not fair, but that's it. Anyway, he had it's varied, but there was a nice section that was just metal, new wave of British heavy metal, almost exclusively. But he
Whoa.
had some Sabbath and whatnot in there too. And yeah, and he played the first two Maiden albums often, but he lived with he had some issues. He lived with his parents almost until the day he died.
Hmm.
And his parents were both very. His dad used to be a pastor. Let's put it that way.
Oh.
So he couldn't. He had his own room because he's an adult and everything. Uh, and he was able to, padlock it and all that. But my grandpa didn't invade his space like that or anything. But he would knock on, he turned that. I forgot what he called it. Like I think he called it refuse once, and I'm like, I think it'd do you good to swear once or twice, Grandpa. Turn that refuse off,
Hmm.
sort of thing. Um, but yeah, no, I just these two albums, just the covers, because I rarely got to listen to them because when I was there, my grandparents were there.
Yeah.
These just the covers alone remind me of my Uncle Ken, and then just fill me with just more nostalgia and everything. So that alone just puts them on good standing. But the fact that they kick ass just adds to it. Oh, and as a side note, my Uncle Ken took me to Sam Goody once at the Clackamas Town Center, and he managed to scare the almost literal crap out of me with the Countdown to Extinction poster from Megadeth. Like he held it up, and it startled me because I thought the dude on the cover was Eddie come to life.
Oh, right. Yeah. Because on that album covers, there's that really like a thin, frail old man.
Emaciated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of reminded me, Chase, real quick. Years ago, when I was a little kid, and my dad would take me to the music store to find, the rock he was interested in, I would just immediately go to the metal section before I even knew anything about metal or anything. My dad's not a Maiden fan, but I would just stare at the cover for Killers because it was in there on CD, and I'd stare at that cover to Peace of Mind, and Eddie scared the shit out of me. I'm like 5 years old, and his face scared the shit out of me. But I would just stand there holding the CD and staring at it
Yeah.
because it was like, what is this thing?
Yeah. So I was thinking the other day, about the metal gods and and everything. I was like, okay, Sabbath brought the heaviness. Priest and Motorhead gave us the speed and the uniform. And Maiden gave us Eddie.
Yeah.
Because here's
Yeah.
the thing, no, and Maiden has done a lot for metal, but but Eddie isn't just Maiden's mascot. He's the mascot for heavy metal.
Mm.
Oh, totally.
And so this is a figure that's recognized around the world. You put this face on a poster or a T-shirt, it's gonna sell.
Yeah.
It is a marketing coup, man. Uh, long live Eddie. uh,
Yeah.
but
Hell yeah.
but yeah, why don't we talk about Paul's last release with Iron Maiden, the Made in Japan EP. This is just 4 live tracks, and they all rule. It's a great it's a great set of performances. What's really I wish there was a double live album with Paul.
Yeah.
You know,
That'd be
um, uh, or at least a full live album. We got these couple of EPs that just kind of whet the appetite, but they say less is more, but I'll take more. I'll take more. But yeah, Running Free, Remember Tomorrow, Killers, Instant Exile, they're all kick-ass tracks, a great selection. And yeah, you have to think man, 81, they're just on the cusp of conquering the world. And they're still playing stadiums in 2024 all over the world. Up the irons, man.
yeah, man.
Yeah. But what do you guys think about this EP? It's great.
I
Yeah.
I remember, or I wrote here rather that if I were at the Music Machine in London, 1979, and I heard "Remember Tomorrow," like if I had a time, sorry, let me say that again. If I had a time machine, I would go back to that, just sit there, listen to the Smokey. Uh, well, yeah, I said the Music Machine. The Music Machine. It's a, you guys know what that is, right? The Coco.
Coco?
But anyway, yeah, no. Anyway, uh, I would have like gladly branded myself, like literally, an Iron Maiden fan for life. But luckily, I don't have to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Well,
copy
okay.
got
Well,
one.
okay.
Like,
Yeah.
I would love to have heard that. I mean, I know that's not where this was recorded, because Japan and everything.
Yeah.
But just hearing that version, it was like it wasn't a religious experience. But it was pretty close. Let's put it that way. But
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
let's say these headphones in a joint.
Yeah. I dig it. I can dig it. Right on. Yeah. Well, okay. Well, hey guys, I think this is a pretty decent. Dylan, will you pull up that image of Paul again? There you go.
Yes, I was
Uh,
about to.
Thank you. I think this is a pretty decent send off for the great Paul Diano. Rest in peace.
Rest in
Gone,
peace, man.
gone, but not forgotten.
Well,
Never,
never.
never. Okay. But we do have a few other things to talk about today, like our songs of the week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
Dylan,
remember
did
that
you?
thing.
Yeah, Dylan, did you say it was Dylan? Did you say it was my turn to go first?
Yes.
Okay, so my song of the week is by King Diamond, and of course, it is the season, so the song is Halloween. Uh, and
Yes.
the song rules. It's a banger. And he's been teasing new music. We heard a couple of new tracks, right? That he's playing on this current tour. I have a sneaky suspicion that he is going to pull a Beyonce or something and surprise the world with a new album on Halloween. Let's see if that happens. Let's see if that happens. I would love that to be true. Watch your streaming services. We could wake up on Halloween and with new King Diamond music to listen to.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. Um, yeah, that's all I got. I just love this song. It's great. King Diamond rules. So
Great choice.
thank you.
Who we
Yeah.
got?
My song of the week is from Bolt Throwers, Fourth Crusade's Celestial Sanctuary.
Oh yeah,
Fuck
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Um, this is kind of an underrated song off of this album. This is everybody always tells me this is their favorite Bolt Thrower album, and there's a lot of good songs on here, but I never hear anybody talk about this song. And
Yeah.
this song, for a group that, like, most of their songs are about war. Like, war is of heavy influence to Bolt Thrower's lyrics and
Yeah.
music and their imagery and everything. But this song is just about dreaming, and it is about, like, looking forward to falling to sleep, to have dreams,
Yeah.
which is something I can relate to. My dreams are very important to me, and I've been thinking about this song this week because every few weeks or so, maybe one week out of every month, I have like a week straight of just ridiculous fever dreams, and uh, I this is one of those weeks, and it's making me think of this song about dreaming. So yeah, that's my song of the week. Great
Okay.
song.
Right on. Right on.
Great
Okay.
choice.
I listened to this week also because I know you posted it in the Discord. I'm like, oh, I'll give it a listen. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a cool one. Chase, so what about you, man?
Let's see. I chose "Take Back the Pit" off of Ancient Wind's 2015 album, "The Chosen Slain." Now, these guys actually sent me their album like 9 years ago, and I gave it a review,
Oh,
and I loved it front to back. But this song in particular was great, just because it was the only one that was like everything else was about a bunch of various different things. One song was about pirates. One song was about witches and like
ooh,
forest demons or whatever it was.
yeah.
And those are all great, but this one's, like the title says, about taking back the pit.
Okay.
And Yeah, and it's been on my mind, and
Okay.
that's it.
Okay. Chase, what's the subgenre of this?
Oh shit, thrash! It's fucking thrash.
Is
It's
it?
thrash, but it's black and thrash. I
Okay.
would say, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. I'll have to check it out. Um, but right on, dude. Um, cool. Groovy. Um,
Very, very cool.
we
Hey,
oh boy, let's get our concert calendar because boy, are there some shows coming up spread out over the next couple of
all
months.
right.
First up, we've got Wasp and Armored Saint, October 28th at the Roseland Theater, and all three of us will be in attendance at this show. So show up to the Wasp concert, get us
Yeah!
get a selfie with the Posers Must Die crew, and we're gonna have a blast. I saw Wasp once in the early 2000s. It was really fun, and I'm so excited to see Armored Saint. I love them. I've loved them for years, and this will be my first time seeing them. Um, so yeah, very excited about that. We're gonna have a dope time, fellas. Um, uh, on November 8th, we have Witch Mountain, Early Moods, and Castle Rat will be playing at the Star Theater. Um, that should be a fun show. I am gonna miss it because I have there's a show the following evening that I've got to have juice for, and that is going to be November 9th at the Blackwater. It's the Bymarks, Long Knife, Alienator, and Malakili. I don't know the Bymarks, but Long Knife, Alienator, and Malakili all rule. I'm so excited
Yes.
to finally see Long Knife and to see Alienator again because they are awesome.
You said conserve your energy, and I'm like, okay, so what's tomorrow night? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be
Alien.
a raging hardcore show. Um, man, and in thrash with Long Knife, this show is gonna be just tearing it up.
Yes.
It's gonna be so bitchin'. That's gonna be a really amazing night, and the Blackwater is celebrating their 25th anniversary. That is cool too.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Um, let's see. A couple weeks after that, November 24th, King Diamond, Overkill, and Night Demon will be playing at the Keller Auditorium. Chase and I will be in attendance at that show. That is going to kick ass. That show is going to rule. I'm so excited to see King and Overkill again. And Night Demon are neat, so I'm looking forward to checking them out as well. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
yeah. Um, November 27th, Massacre and Pessimist will be at the Bossa Nova Ballroom. I think that's Chase. I think that's where you and I saw Andrew WK all those years ago.
That is exactly where we saw Andrew WK
Yes,
all those.
that is a cool venue. I haven't been there probably since that show. So
So,
and I am gonna be trying like heck to go to this because I do love me some Massacre. Um,
Same. I
I
think
don't.
I'll try to go to this too, man. I want to see
Yeah,
Massacre.
yeah. I don't have that tons of juice for death metal, but for an old school classic like this band, I really want to be there. So I am gonna really trying hard to make that one. I think I could probably swing it. Um, the following week, December 4th, Exodus with Havoc, Candy, and Dead Heat will be at the Hawthorne Theater. This is going to be an insane night of thrash. Wow, this is going to rule. I've been revisiting the Havoc catalog and like, wow, really good.
Havoc's
I
fucking great,
I
dude.
I had like forgotten like how bitchin' that band was. Like they're really good. And of course, I love Exodus. Holy crap! So I'm very excited about this show. Going to be a great night. And then on December 7th, Atomic Terror, Battle Cattle, Versipal, and Violent Insurrection. This is pretty much an all thrash show. They're gonna be at the high water mark, tearing it up. This is gonna be a great night of fun. Uh, we will
Sounds
be.
like it's gonna.
They're gonna be circle pitting for sure at that. And yeah, and then on also at the high water mark on December 13th, we got some death metal happening in the form of Oxygen Destroyer, Contusion or Concussion. I can't Contusion,
Contusion.
and Hemorrhoid are going to be playing, and that's that's gonna be cool. Finally, I missed the Oxygen Destroyer their recent show, and so I'm glad I'll have an opportunity to check them out. Finally, this should be a killer night. So wow, we still have it's a little spread out, but the next couple months, woo, there's gonna be some bangers, and we will be there banging, baby. So yeah, man, excellent. Chase, why don't you hit us with the sign off, baby?
Oh yeah. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and remember, wherever you are, the Iron Maiden's gonna get you, no matter how far.
Fuck yeah. R.I.P. Paul.